Hello, everyone. I hope you had a wonderful month of November and a great Thanksgiving. Hope you got to spend a lot of good quality time with friends and family and loved ones. When we look at the month of November, one month that could sum up the month was probably volatility. Volatility in the market, as well as volatility on what the Fed's next step would be, whether or not they would cut in December. So, first looking at the market itself, the Dow was up about 0.3%. The Nasdaq was negative 1.5% for the month, and the S&P 500 was positive just barely, about 0.1%. So the S&P just barely snuck into positive territory for the month, but at one point it was down about 4.5%. So we really saw the S&P rally towards the end of the month of November. This marks the seventh straight month of positive returns for the S&P 500. Really, since that April timeframe, the market has been positive on a month in and month out basis for 2025. So the Nasdaq was not quite as lucky. It broke its seventh month winning streak, primarily due to tech underperforming. Tech was the lagging sector in the market. Most of those big mega cap Mag 7 type names were negative for the month, and that really weighed down that NASDAQ index, and that's why that was negative for the month of November. When we turn and look at the Fed, there was some volatility there as well when it came to what their next step would be, whether they cut in December or whether they hold rates steady. Coming into the month, it was a lower probability that they would cut in December, primarily due to the fact that Chairman Powell's comments in late October mentioned, and he stated that a rate cut in December was a, quote, far from a foregone conclusion. So that really weighed down the probabilities that we would get a cut in December at the beginning of November. But as the month progressed, those probabilities increased and really accelerated towards the end of the month, following some comments from one of the other Fed governors, one of the Fed governors from New York, that made very dovish comments, which means that he is in favor of cutting rates, and the probability of getting a rate cut in December increased dramatically to over 80% at that point in time. So the one stable piece that we saw in the month of November was really earnings. Earnings are essentially complete. There's still a few names that we'll need to report for this Q3 earnings season, but for the most part, almost all of the major companies have already reported, and they've shown strong earnings. They've seen growth of about 13.5%. This is above expectations that we were expecting, which was in the range of about 7.9 to 8% earnings growth. So as long as those earnings can continue to grow for these companies, the stock price follows earnings over the long term, so that gives us confidence that the market can continue to go higher. Hope you all have a wonderful month of December. Hope you have a lot of good quality time with friends and family. Hope you have a wonderful Christmas season. We will see you next month. It's hard to believe we will be recapping the full year 2025 and looking towards flipping the page and turning to 2026 as well. So look forward to seeing you all soon. Have a great month.